One that money can't buy happiness. Whoever said this is either a billionaire or a monk. It is so very true. Money can actually buy happiness. Let's accept the reality. Money is the basic and important necessity for life to function. These days you can't even get a water bottle for free. Simon guys. Money is important. Okay, let's put it this way. Money can't buy happiness, but it certainly buys a cure for sadness. Want to know the value of money? Go ask any poor man, or a man who is dependent on his daily wages, and see how money is important to them. I have talked with them and cried seeing their plight, and it might not be important to you, because you have it and you don't know the value. Period. 2 looks don't matter. Just be yourself and people will like you for who you are. That's the biggest lie society ever told you. You majorly would be judged based on your appearance. No matter how exceptional skills you have, your appearance would be judged. I get judged a lot for my small height and my thin body. There is a friend of mine who is overweight, but she is very kind. People body shame her and don't like their kids hanging out with her. 3 keep working hard. Another big lie. This was true in the 1980s, but in this competitive arena, hard work only won't take you ahead in the field. Instead, you would be used a lot if you constantly work hard. Instead, doing smart work and having a lot of connections through networking will take you ahead. Sad but true. 4 you are not happy. Let's see these 2 scenarios. The office shift ends at 6 p.m. on a Friday. Tom logs out of the system and runs out of the office building. He catches up with his college friends for dinner at a fine Persian restaurant that night. They laugh a lot as they revisit their old memories. Meeting friends actually uplifts the soul, he posts online. Then they go to the bar and drink all the way into the night, chatting and dancing to the hard rock music on the stage. While at the same time, Mike couldn't leave work at 6 p.m. as his code showed errors. He kept debugging and trying other alternatives. Finally, it was 9:30 p.m. when it showed the desired result. He logged out of the system and went back to his room, reading his favorite nonfiction on the way. He made bindi fry and had it with rotis. Then he watched an episode on Netflix and dozed off on the sofa. Now, which of these 2 people do you think is having an unhappy life? Well, it might look surprising, but the answer is neither of them. This is one common myth about happiness. Society expects happiness to always be a visible thing, and that it should be expressed in specific patterns. However, there is a lot of difference between being happy and showing the world that you are happy. The latter is only a minor subset of the former one, and it hugely depends on the societal perception of happiness, which may or may not be your definition. For example, a person sitting with a group of friends, laughing and sharing food with them in a crowded restaurant is considered happy and enthusiastic, while a person sitting alone and eating is considered to be lonely and sad. But it can be that he had avoided his friends and came there purposely alone to enjoy his favorite meal without any distraction. His happiness came from relishing it bite by bite. A person with a long beard spending the whole weekend inside a room smoking and reading some huge books is considered depressed and boring. His happiness is coming from decoding the deep philosophical poems, and he is as happy as the person posting a selfie with his friends at Oktoberfest. The problem here is not happiness, but that their behavior doesn't fit into how society defines happiness. Films, media, and social networks often showcase this. People who slog day and night and do nothing but work are depicted as unhappy people who don't value life. They had to be stopped and lectured, come on, you should get a life. You should be happy. And then they realized the celebration of life by drinking, partying, surfing, parasailing, and skydiving. What makes you conclude that they are not happy? How can you decide that this is the recipe for happiness for others? I've seen a lot of people, like researchers, scientists, developers, and entrepreneurs, who yearn to work every day and are not tired even after 18 hours of work. They enjoy work like a glass of wine. They all find the same happiness in work that someone else finds in skydiving. But because of such perceptions, they are conditioned to believe that they are not happy, something is wrong with them, etc. For example, now, say, after the weekend, Mike goes to the office and Tom tells him you should enjoy. You should celebrate life and be happy every minute, so next time, he goes with him uninterested. He is not a fan of Persian food. He hates loud music. He doesn't like beer, but he just sits with them so as to not disappoint them. He secretly starts feeling irritated that he is wasting time at a place he has no interest in. Thus, his unhappiness curve begins. You want to be happy because society has convinced you that so-called people are happy all the time. You want to be happy because you want to fit in. But why should you fit into the parameters of some made-up definition of normalcy? You're exhausted because you're always pretending to be something you are not. You are constantly trying to reach this non-existent, ideal state of emotional well-being. It's not real. You are being set up to fail. 5. Always be chill. So, the most basic and sort of obvious downside of being a chill person is that it teaches people what you tolerate. If you're chill with somebody reaching into your bag of chips without asking, then it teaches that person that it's okay to do that, and hence will repeat that action. Another example is if you're okay with somebody trash talking you, and you really don't mind, it teaches them that they can trash talk you, and there would be no consequences. I play football with my friends, and every time I don't make a catch, it's like an instinct that they trash talk me. But when one of my less chill and more popular friends missed a catch, it's apparently a nice try or that was my bad. The next downside of being a chill person is that people will take you for granted. I would assume that if you're chill, you would also be nice, as nothing really bothers you. People will take you for granted because, come on, there are not many people like you. It will teach people that you are chill, therefore, they can use you, and you wouldn't mind. This leads to another downside, which I'll get into in the next paragraph to make it look more professional. The next downside is that people will stop inviting you to hang out with them. Happens to the best of us. What I mean is, people take you for granted. When people take you for granted, it can and will lead to you not getting invited to hang out with friends. People know that you are chill, take it for granted, and simply don't have to include you in anything if they don't want to because they already know you won't react and you'll be chill about it. Happened to me, and it may happen to you. The next downside is that you would eventually turn into that popular, unpopular kid. You're that chill person that everybody likes and is friends with but never invites to hang out with. You're that kid who knows everybody, including all the popular and unpopular, and everyone in between. You're that kid that girls love talking to, but never actually gets a girlfriend. So, maybe start unchilling yourself. Maybe people will start taking you more seriously. Show people that you actually care. Show people that what they're doing is not right. Show people that you actually have emotions. 6 people who don't have children are selfish. People who do have children are actually selfish. Overpopulation is the single biggest problem facing the world today. Children enrich your life and bring you happiness. Sometimes this is true. In other cases, they ruin your life. And it isn't only those tricky early years. What about when your daughter is 16 and is made pregnant by an absolute scumbag? Or when your son becomes addicted to opioids? Even if you avoid all those pitfalls, the worry can be crushing. I don't know how people cope when their daughter leaves for college. I think I'd die of fear and worry. And all the cliches about it being part of life, moving on, gotta let them go, wouldn't help at all. 7. Education, intelligence, and hard work will lead to money and success. No, what matters is confidence, assertiveness, cunning, arrogance, charm, and luck. Life is a meaningful journey. Life is a meaningless and pointless slog toward old age, pain, and death. Most of the big things, like your wedding day, are stressful. That doesn't mean you can't be happy. But real happiness comes from the small, trivial, meaningless things: a hot bath, a good book, a bottle of wine, a drug high, a DVD box set. People who live alone are lonely, unlovable losers. A bad relationship is the loneliest place in the world. Living alone, however, can be great, especially if you have family and close friends nearby. 8. Soulmate fantasy. That there is that one special person out there who is just right for you and you were made to be together. No, doesn't work that way. There are 3.5 billion people of the other sex on the planet. It's crazy to think only one of those is right for you. Also, finding and keeping the right person involves luck and hard work. Don't expect magic to guide you into the perfect, Disney-like relationship. With a global gender ratio of 52-48 in favor of women, and male homosexuality being around twice as common as lesbianism, there are literally millions of women who cannot possibly find a committed life partner. 9. The cure for loneliness is to get out there and meet new people. It isn't. The cure for loneliness is intimacy and love. The cure is spending time with the right sorts of people. Spend time with the wrong sort. People with whom you have nothing in common. People who are vain, shallow, arrogant, and spiteful, and you will feel more lonely. We are far too isolated. In the good old days, people were happier because they knew their neighbors and had a stronger sense of community. I already know my neighbors, and 2/3 of them are boring or vile. When people lived in small villages, they had to contend with nosiness, gossip, rumors, and spite. Life in those small, idyllic villages was mean, petty, and hierarchical. Everyone watched everyone else and spent much of their time trying to pull one another back and down. I love being able to isolate myself and socialize only with people I want to socialize with. In the past, that would have provoked my neighbors. They'd have bitterly resented me for acting like you are better than us and would have persecuted me.